There is a profound power in silence, one that few truly understand. In a world where we are constantly encouraged to share, to express, to speak our minds, silence has become almost unnatural. Social media urges us to broadcast every moment of our lives. Conversations often turn into competitions of who has more, who knows more, who suffers more. But if you pay close attention, you will notice something. The wisest people are often the quietest. The Buddha taught that words have great power. They can heal or harm, enlighten or deceive. But what is even more powerful than words is the wisdom to know when to stay silent. Some things, when spoken about too much, can drain your energy, invite unnecessary trouble, or even bring suffering into your life. True wisdom is knowing what to keep to yourself. Today, we'll explore the 5 things that truly wise people never talk about. Each one carries a lesson in mindfulness, humility, and emotional strength. If you learn to guard these areas of your life with silence, you will discover a new level of peace, power, and wisdom. Let's begin. Their future plans. True wisdom lies in the present. In a world obsessed with ambition and long-term planning, most people love to talk about their future. They share their dreams, their 5-year plans, and their expectations for life. But have you ever noticed that truly wise people rarely do this? Why? Because they understand that the future is uncertain, and the more we talk about it, the more we trap ourselves in illusion. The problem with over-talking about the future. Imagine someone who constantly talks about how rich they will be, how successful they will become, or how perfect their life will be in 5 years. But in reality, they take little action. They are attached to an idea rather than living in the present moment. The Buddha taught that attachment to expectations creates suffering. When we expect our future to unfold in a certain way, we set ourselves up for disappointment. When we tell everyone about our plans, we feel pressure to meet those expectations, even when life naturally changes. When we obsess over what is to come, we fail to appreciate the opportunities of today. Why do wise people avoid talking about the future? 1. They understand the power of impermanence. Buddhism teaches the concept of anicca, impermanence. Nothing stays the same, and clinging to a fixed future is an illusion. Wise people accept that. Goals may change. Circumstances may shift. What seems important today may not matter tomorrow. Instead of constantly talking about the future, they take mindful action in the present. 2. They do not seek validation. Many people share their future plans not because they are committed, but because they seek approval. They want others to validate their dreams. They crave admiration for their ambitions. They feel important when talking about success. But wise people do not need external validation. They are content with their journey, whether others recognize it or not. 3. They focus on action, not words. There's a famous Zen proverb, "A wise man does not announce his plans. He simply acts, and the results speak for themselves." Talking about the future creates an illusion of progress. But progress is measured by actions, not words. Instead of saying, "I will meditate every morning," they simply wake up and meditate. Instead of announcing, "I will start a business," they take small steps toward building it. How can we apply this wisdom? Live fully in the present. The future is uncertain. The only moment you truly own is now. Take action in silence. Let your progress speak for itself. Detach from fixed expectations. Life changes. Plans evolve. Stay open to the flow of life. A Zen story, The King's Plans. A wise king once asked his spiritual advisor, "What should I do to ensure my kingdom prospers in the next 10 years?" The advisor replied, "Do not ask about 10 years, ask about today. The future depends on how you rule this moment." The king learned that wisdom is not in predicting the future, but in acting wisely in the present. Number 2. their wealth and possessions. True security comes from within. In modern society, people love to talk about their money, how much they earn, what they own, where they invest. But have you ever noticed that truly wise people rarely discuss their wealth? Why? Because they understand that real security does not come from material possessions, but from inner peace and wisdom. The illusion of wealth as security. Most people believe that money equals security. They work tirelessly, accumulate assets, and boast about their financial success. But Buddhism teaches that attachment to wealth is one of the biggest traps of suffering. Money is impermanent. The economy can crash, businesses can fail, and fortunes can disappear overnight. Wealth does not guarantee happiness. Many rich people are still anxious, insecure, and unfulfilled. Talking about wealth attracts envy and negative energy. When we openly discuss our possessions, we invite unnecessary comparison and conflict. Why do wise people avoid talking about money? They know that wealth is temporary. The Buddha taught that all things, including wealth, are subject to impermanence, anicca. A wealthy man today could be poor tomorrow. A luxurious home today could be lost in a disaster. A high-paying job today might be gone next year. Since wise people understand this, they do not boast about wealth or make it the center of their conversations. They do not define themselves by money. Many people equate their self-worth with their financial status. They talk about their income, expensive purchases, and investments because it makes them feel valuable. But wise people do not tie their identity to material success. They know that wealth is external. It does not define their character. They value wisdom, integrity, and kindness over bank balances. They seek inner security rather than external validation. They avoid attracting negative energy. Talking about wealth often leads to problems. Jealousy. People may resent them or try to take advantage of them. Unrealistic expectations. Others may assume they should always pay or offer financial help. Fear and anxiety. The more wealth is discussed, the more they fear losing it. Wise people understand that true wealth is not about how much they have, but how content they are. How can we apply this wisdom? Detach from material possessions. Wealth is useful, but it should not control your happiness. Do not seek validation through money. Your true value lies in your actions and character. Use wealth wisely and quietly. Help others without seeking recognition. A Zen story, The Empty Hands. A rich man once asked his Zen master, "I have millions. How can I feel truly secure?" The master smiled and replied, "Close your eyes. Imagine losing everything. Now, open your eyes. If you can still smile, you are truly rich." The rich man understood that true security does not come from wealth, but from inner peace. Number 3, their good deeds. True kindness needs no recognition. In today's world, people often highlight their acts of kindness. They post about their charity work, announce their donations, and seek recognition for their generosity. But have you ever noticed that truly wise people rarely talk about their good deeds? Why? Because they understand that true kindness does not seek validation. It flows naturally from a compassionate heart. The ego's desire for recognition. Many people do good things, but they also want others to know about. They donate to charity and post it on social media. They help someone and subtly mention it in conversations. They expect praise or acknowledgement for their kindness. But Buddhism teaches that attachment to recognition corrupts the purity of giving. When we expect praise, our kindness is no longer selfless. It becomes transactional. When we seek validation, we feed the ego rather than cultivate true compassion. When we make kindness about ourselves, we miss its deeper meaning. Why do wise people avoid talking about their good deeds? 1. They practice true selflessness. Buddhism emphasizes selfless giving, dana, giving without expectation. Wise people help because it is the right thing to do, not because they want admiration. They understand that the value of kindness is in the act itself, not in the recognition. They do not need the world to know because their inner peace comes from knowing they did what was right. 2. They know that attachment to praise leads to suffering. The Buddha taught that attachment to opinions and praise is a source of suffering. If we do good expecting recognition, we become disappointed when no one acknowledges us. If we build our self-worth on being seen as kind, we feel lost when people stop noticing. If we attach our happiness to praise, we remain trapped in external validation. Wise people understand that true peace comes from within, not from others' approval. 3. They see giving as a natural flow, not an achievement. In Zen Buddhism, there is a concept called empty giving, giving without a giver. The sun does not announce that it shines. It simply does. The river does not boast about quenching thirst. It simply flows. The wise person does not talk about their kindness. They simply act. When giving becomes natural, it no longer needs to be spoken about. How can we apply this wisdom? Give without expectation. Help because it is right, not because you want recognition. Detach from praise. True kindness does not need an audience. See goodness as part of your nature. When kindness is effortless, it no longer needs validation. A Zen story, The Hidden Gift. A monk once helped a starving man by giving him his last bowl of rice. A disciple asked, "Why didn't you tell anyone? You did something noble." The monk smiled and said, "If the left hand gives, must the right hand know?" The disciple understood. True kindness is silent. Number 4. Their personal struggles. Strength is found in silence. In a world where sharing struggles has become a form of social currency, wise people remain silent about their deepest pains. It's not because they are ashamed or afraid, but because they understand that true resilience does not need validation. Many people wear their struggles as badges of honor, constantly speaking about their hardships to gain sympathy, admiration, or a sense of identity. But the wisest individuals choose a different path. They endure, they grow, and they transform without making their suffering a public spectacle. Why do wise people avoid talking about their struggles? 1. They understand that complaining does not heal pain. It's natural to want to talk about our problems. We seek comfort, understanding, and reassurance. But wise individuals recognize a profound truth. Talking excessively about struggles does not solve them. It amplifies them. Replaying painful experiences in conversation keeps the suffering alive in the mind. Dwelling on struggles can make them part of one's identity, reinforcing victimhood rather than empowerment. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from attachment to pain, stories, and identities. Wise people focus on healing, not on reinforcing the wounds. 2. They choose action over words. When facing adversity, most people do one of 2 things: talk about it endlessly, or take quiet, meaningful action. A wise person facing financial struggles does not constantly tell others. They strategize, adapt, and rebuild. A wise person going through heartbreak does not endlessly seek sympathy. They reflect, learn, and grow. A wise person battling personal demons does not make them a public narrative. They find inner peace through wisdom and practice. Talking about struggles can sometimes become an excuse for not acting. Wise people know that healing happens through action, not endless discussion. 3. They protect their energy from the wrong people. Not everyone who listens is a friend. Not everyone who sympathizes truly cares. Wise people understand that discussing personal struggles with the wrong audience can invite unnecessary judgment or gossip, attract negative energy from those who secretly enjoy seeing others struggle, strengthen attachments to the past, rather than freeing oneself from it. Instead of seeking validation from others, they seek wisdom from within. How can we apply this wisdom? Choose your confidence wisely. Not everyone deserves to hear your struggles. Share with those who offer wisdom, not just sympathy. Focus on healing, not reinforcing pain. Speak about your challenges only when necessary and with the right intent. Turn struggle into strength. Instead of making suffering part of your identity, use it as fuel for transformation. A Zen story, The Silent Warrior. A young samurai once approached his master and said, "I am facing deep struggles. Should I share them with others?" The master handed him a cup of water and whispered, "Carry this through the village without spilling a single drop." As the samurai walked carefully, he noticed people laughing, arguing, and calling for his attention, but he remained focused. When he returned, the master asked, "Did you hear the distractions?" The samurai nodded. "Yes, but I was too focused on the water to respond." The master smiled. That is how the wise handle struggles. They do not spill their energy on unnecessary words. They stay focused on what truly matters. Number 5. Their deepest fears and weaknesses. Strength lies in mastery. The strongest people in the world are not those who have no fears, but those who do not let their fears define them. Wise individuals understand this truth and choose their words carefully. Unlike others who openly discuss their deepest insecurities, wise people do something different. They observe, they reflect, and they transform their fears into wisdom. They do not broadcast their weaknesses because they know that in the wrong hands, vulnerability can be turned into a weapon. Instead, they cultivate inner strength in silence. Why do wise people guard their weaknesses? Fear grows when you feed it. Talking about a fear repeatedly gives it more power. Imagine a person who constantly says, "I'm afraid of failing." Every time they repeat it, their mind reinforces that belief. Over time, fear takes root and controls their decisions. In Buddhism, the concept of mental formation sanhara teaches us that the more we reinforce a thought, the stronger it becomes. Wise individuals understand this and choose to weaken fear by not giving it unnecessary attention. Instead of talking about their weaknesses, they observe them with mindfulness. They acknowledge their fears without becoming controlled by them. Not everyone has pure intentions. When you expose your greatest weaknesses to the world, you give others the power to use them against you. Some may manipulate your fears for their own gain. Others may judge or underestimate you based on your vulnerabilities. Even well-meaning people may project their own anxieties onto you, deepening your doubts. Wise people choose to confide only in those who have earned their trust. They understand that true strength is built in stillness, not in public confessions. True mastery is silent transformation. The wise do not deny their fears. They transform them. Rather than talking endlessly about their struggles, they take quiet, deliberate action to overcome them. If they fear public speaking, they practice in private until they become confident. If they struggle with self-doubt, they cultivate self-awareness and discipline. If they fear loss, they seek wisdom in stillness rather than seeking validation from others. This aligns with the Buddhist teaching of right effort, samavayama, the practice of directing energy toward growth rather than indulging in self-pity. How can we apply this wisdom? Observe your fears instead of feeding them. The next time you feel afraid, don't repeat it to yourself or others. Simply watch it with detachment. Confide in the right people. Vulnerability is powerful, but only when shared with those who can guide and uplift you. Transform quietly. Let your progress, not your words, reveal your strength. A Zen story, The Warrior's Secret. A young warrior once asked the master, "How do I overcome my fear?" The master replied, "Come back tomorrow." The next day the warrior returned, but the master said nothing. Instead, he handed the warrior a bucket and pointed to a river. For weeks, the warrior carried water, not understanding why. But as his body grew stronger, so did his mind. One day he realized, fear is not removed by words. It is overcome by action. From that moment on, he never spoke of fear again. He simply faced it. True wisdom is not found in how much we say, but in how deeply we understand. The 5 things that wise people never talk about: money, personal struggles, future plans, good deeds, and others' faults, are not just arbitrary rules. They reveal a profound way of living, one that leads to peace, strength, and true mastery over life. When we stop broadcasting our wealth, we free ourselves from the need for external validation and avoid unnecessary envy or resentment. Silence about our personal struggles allows us to process pain without making it our identity. Holding our future plans close protects our energy from doubt and distractions, giving us the space to take meaningful action. Choosing not to boast about our good deeds teaches us the power of selfless virtue, where true kindness requires no audience. And refraining from speaking about others' faults frees us from negativity, making room for personal growth and compassion. Each of these lessons aligns with the wisdom of right speech, samavakta, non-attachment, upekkha, and mindful action, sati in Buddhism. A wise person understands that words shape reality. The more we speak about things unnecessarily, the more we give them power over us. But when we cultivate mindful silence, we reclaim our inner strength. This is not about fear, secrecy, or suppression. It is about intentionality. The less we speak of what is unnecessary, the more clarity we gain. And with clarity comes peace. True wisdom is not loud. It does not seek approval. It does not need to prove itself. It simply exists, calm, steady, and powerful. What would happen if you started living this way? What would change in your life if you embraced the power of silence? Silence is not weakness. It is power. A power that allows you to move with purpose, act with wisdom, and protect your energy from distractions. The wisest people in history, Buddha, Lao Tzu, and even modern thinkers, understood this truth. You don't have to explain yourself to the world. Your actions, your inner peace, and your growth will speak louder than any words ever could. Now ask yourself, how much energy have you wasted defending, proving, or justifying your life to others? What would change if you embrace the strength of mindful silence? How much more peace would you feel if you let go of unnecessary words? This is your time to reclaim your energy. If you found wisdom in this message, don't just think about it. Apply it. Start practicing today. And if you're ready to go deeper into the path of wisdom, mindfulness, and inner peace, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Together, we'll uncover the truths that can transform your life. Let wisdom guide you. Let silence empower you. And let your actions be your greatest voice.